Hello to our streamers and welcome back to tonight's match, or to our viewers. Tonight we have the Centre Esports team up against New England College. And as it stands currently, Centre is the number one spot and seed for the Emergence Yellow NECC League. So that means Centre is the number one as it stands currently. Today with me, I have Tyler Davidson here. He will be casting with us for the first time, and we are very excited to have him. And as usual, I am Porter.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here.
I'm going to give and we are now in the game. We do not have Global Spectate today, so we are spectating individuals' characters, but out of the bat, we have Centre College contesting the point with New England, and it seems to be very neck to neck as it stands. We will not be getting all of the same information as we normally do, so we cannot see when other players are alive or respawning, and we will not be able to see other players through the walls, so it'll be a little bit different of a viewing experience for us today, but it is still the same game.
Well, Centre did a wonderful job there stopping that first push from New England College.
Yes. Centre's now trying to prevent New England College from approaching the point, so they're trying to push them back, but it seems that we're very evenly matched today.
Centre seems to be holding their ground quite well here. I don't want to jinx us or anything, but
yes. Centre's working great today as a team, and as it stands right now, the point is being contested, but Centre is still actively holding it. And it looks like I may have jinxed us right there, but
I'll take the blame for that jinxing there.
That is A-okay. So, as it stands right now, New England is in charge of the points and is in control, but Centre is now regrouping and heading back. They have their tanks near the front and are in a very good formation to take on New England. We are still contesting the point as it stands and are slowly pushing New England backwards. The view, as I said, is a little chaotic as we're having to specifically shadow certain players, but we still get the same experience.
Seems like Centre's push there was knocked back, but only barely.
Yes, Centre is now pushing forward yet again. They have their Rhine up front, and it looks like they are about to push forward. And Centre's putting up a great fight. Currently, there are 3 players from each team in the capture point, and Centre is contesting the point. However, it looks like New England does have more players there and is putting up a bit of a stronger fight than Centre has expected.
Centre, though, they seem to be holding their own when they take these pushes, only losing by a nose.
Yes, when Centre does get pushed back, they are not pushed back far, and they quickly recover to come back stronger than they were before and putting up a heavier fight. So we can see that somewhat right now in this overtime, as Centre is giving it all that they can in order to push New England out of the zone and to capture it. And
Centre has regained control of the point.
Centre is now moving forward in order to prevent New England from approaching the point, because if New England does capture the point, they will automatically win this round, or this. They will win right now if they capture it. So Centre is going to give it all their best in order to prevent them from doing so. it looks like it is still fairly even. We have some 1v1s going on, but New England did try to capture the point just then and was progressing a little bit, but was scared off by NECC just now.
And it seems that the rest of the center team is getting back on the point.
Yes, all of the center team right now is currently on the point. All of them are there, and we are in overtime yet again, but if center can hold this point, then they will secure the W, secure that win. It's a very tight game. It looks like some of the New England team have approached, but as I said earlier, NECC is putting up a great fight against these New England players. Crow has also just eliminated one of the players, and it looks like this Centre Overwatch team is working very cohesive as a unit as they attempt to hold this point.
I mean, yeah, one of the highlights of this round so far has just been seeing the teamwork that the center team has been putting forth to try to win this game.
Center has somewhat of a newer Overwatch team, as we do have a very new esports program, so seeing the growth over the past year of this team is amazing, and the fact that they are putting up such a good fight and working so well as a unit is very impressive. So snaps to the growth and the long way that they've come since the beginning. Center is putting in the work right now, and as I've said multiple times before, you can see.
And Center won the game.
And that is
a round.
Yeah, that is a Roll Kearns moment.
Yeah, that is a Roll Kearns, ladies and gents.
So in between round 1 and round 2, I would like to give a special shout out to our first Centre Overwatch watch party. Shout out to the women of Brockman Commons number 15 for supporting the team today and all that they do.
Yeah, thank you guys. Your support is always much appreciated.
So up next, Center will be playing on a hybrid style round eventually, but for this next part, they will just be playing control yet again. So they will be controlling a point, just like the first round. And then if Center can secure this, then they will move on. But if they do not, then they will play a third. And Center is met with a literal wall.
Hey, it seemed like New England was trying to get an early push out of there to meet the center team before they got to the point, but Center's putting up a good fight, and they are capturing the point.
Yes. It was clearly not a good enough push in order to keep Center out of the point, as, again, they're moving forward to prevent New England from approaching the point. We have Jellymane being an amazing healer right now. They are healing their teammates so that all of the team is fully healed for when New England College comes back to the capture point.
And that's nothing but some grade A prime teamwork right there.
We are now back at the objective point, and it is guns a-blazing, but
Center is still putting up a good defense.
Yes.
Managing to push New England back for a second time.
I think Center really got a grip on this game and their teammates within the first round. They can learn very quickly and see how the other team plays, and Center is working against that right now. They are using the other team's play style against them in order to push them back more and more. We are seeing that now, and we can also see that New England decided to switch up their approach to the map, or to the objective point, and it did not catch Center off guard at all in the slightest. Center is, time and time again, knocking them back and keeping the point secured.
Yeah, Center did a very wonderful job there of adapting to counter this new approach that New England took.
kill after kill for the center team right now. So center is meeting them yet again, and it looks like we are in overtime. However, center is continuing to push back, and that overtime is almost over, and center secures this round as well. So roll Kearns yet again.
Roll Kearns once again, a phrase I will never get tired of saying.
So right now we are waiting between rounds, and up next we will be going into that hybrid map setup that I explained earlier. So we'll be on a different map, and we will see how center fares in a different game style against New England College. And yet again, roll Kearns, so bear with us. So at the beginning of this round, we have a couple of the players switching out, and we also have a change in a couple of the characters as well. So with this new lineup for center, we'll see that they can keep the same energy throughout this round on this map. We have Who's James coming in as DPS for this round, so he's very eager to play after not playing in the first one. And we are in the game now, in just about right now. So currently the game is starting up, so center is going to be on the attack, and they are going to be attempting to capture an objective point, which will then give them a escort, or then it'll give them something to escort for the rest of the map. So this hybrid style is the hybrid of both the first map and then the last map as well. So center is now approaching as a unit through this map, and as you can tell, New England is guarding it, but one of them has already been eliminated by one of the center players. So center is trying to capture this objective point, and they're doing all means to do so. We have a lot of New England players still there, but center is doing their hardest and fullest to contest this point, and they are doing it right now. They are in the middle of capturing this point fully, and once they do, the escort, or the it will begin to move, and they will then escort it throughout the map.
Really, center seems to be owing their success in this game to their teamwork, and it's something that just makes this game that much more enjoyable to watch.
Without center's teamwork, it would be all over the place for them. They would not be where they are currently, so seeing them work so smoothly together really makes this a much more enjoyable game. You can tell that the support players on the Centre Overwatch team really know what they're doing. They heal and provide buffs to the tanks and the damaged players when is needed.
You see, Porter, I'm wondering what's happening here. If center was able to push back New England that quickly from the payload, or if New England was kind of trying to wait back. Either way, what happened seemed to have kind of been disadvantageous towards New England.
Yes. Either way, the payload is still moving forward. So, as Tyler did say, whatever did happen was in favor of Sinner. Right now we have Jelly Main going through and has eliminated one of the players and assisted in another. Now that the Centre Overwatch team has eliminated the opposing team's players, they are all now moving together with the payload as you get another cohesive unit. You can also tell that each of the Centre players really knows they're really attuned to their characters. They know all the ins and outs, and they know what part of the puzzle that they fit into on the Centre Overwatch team. Whether it's support, damage per second, or tank, they really fill out these roles super, super well.
Yeah, and they're all working together as a cohesive unit.
Centre has reached the first checkpoint for this map and is now moving on the way to the final checkpoint for this map. So as it stands right now, Centre does have 2 points, but they will attempt to get all the points possible for this map. All of the New England team is currently standing in the way of the payload moving forward, but Centre is still knocking them out one by one.
It seems like one of the things that the Centre team excels at is isolating certain members of the enemy team to kind of take out in a sequential order.
Yes.
With everyone focusing on one enemy at a time, it just whittles down the enemy team that much quicker.
Exactly. It is currently being contested, but it does look like Centre is knocking them out one by one.
And I think maybe you'll agree with me, Porter, but be a hard performance for New England to follow up.
Yes. This is also, well...
roll currents on this
roll
one.
currents. Round one complete. I was going to say that later in the map, it is a little bit harder for Centre to continuously push back New England because they are respawning right there at the final checkpoint. Whereas if Centre a player did end up having to respawn, they would have to walk all the way across the map, but that was unapplicable as Centre secured the point.
Just a really, really an exemplary push.
Yes, that was amazing. Once Centre had captured that point, or captured that objective point and secured the payload never stopped moving. They continuously moved forward and pushed back against New England. So now the roles will be reversed though, so New England will be on the attack and Centre will be on the defense. So we'll see if Centre can work as cohesive when they are defending as they did on the attack. So as you can see right now, Centre is moving forward as the defenders and getting in place to prevent New England from trying to capture that initial objective point. Still have around 10 seconds, but New England will soon be on their way, and Centre is ready for them.
And now we'll get to see if Centre is as good at defending as they are at attacking.
Typically, from what I have seen for any team playing, there's typically one that they have a strength for and one that they have a slight weakness for. So hopefully Centre can hold and be strong with both attacking and defending. But if they do keep New England here, they're going to be holding them on this side of the map near their respawn point for quite a long time, because they will have to defend for around 4 minutes straight in order to keep them from scoring any.
Well, and it seems once again Centre is kind of following the strategy of meeting the enemy before they reach the point.
They're meeting the enemy before they reach the point with their damage per second players and tanks out front, with their supports healing those players in between the lull of the waves of the New England college team approaching. So with all of that in mind, they are performing in a way where it is very fluid and it's literally a very well-oiled machine. They've got it down to a science that they're doing perfectly.
And McCree was taken down by old Diva over there.
However, Center is still working with the loss of one of their players, so even without one of the components, Center can still hold up quite a wall against the other team. So Center is still keeping them at bay around that corner. We have Blakeu, he is keeping them at bay by sniping them out if they do try to round around that corner, and is doing so seamlessly.
A game like this really can be won or lost based upon how well your tank players play, and it seems like Center's tanks are upholding their end of the bargain.
Their support is also doing an amazing job. Just now we saw the other team roll up, and we saw Galv as Orisa provide support for the team in order to keep the opposing one at bay.
This is awesome. Truly wonderful gameplay.
They are, as we see, they are staying in the same spot, and it appears they have them, the opposing team stuck in a spot where it's really hard for them to progress, and they only can progress one way. If the other team does contest the point, it is quickly uncontested as Center can whittle them down.
And there we go, another push stop by Center College.
And it looks like that all the characters are getting healed, and they're all ready to go yet again. It's almost like Center is defeating waves of enemies, and in between each wave they are back to where they started before with their health. So it's
and a
so strong.
And a tactical ice wall placement by Center College's May, trapping the enemy team into a kill zone. What an exemplary strategy.
We've got Agni Kai putting the attack on as well, getting multiple kills in a row and assists with Who's James. And it looks like there's only one more second, and
once again, roll currents.
Center has secured this map without losing any points to New England, and they have not lost any points yet. So up next we will have Escort on Route 66, and let's hope that the Currents can keep this energy up for this last map, and fingers crossed, hopefully stay undefeated. Center College has not lost a match against any other college currently, or university, or any map. Center has not lost a map yet for this season in their NECC conference. So if Center can secure this next map, they will come up with the win and also continue to stay undefeated in the number one spot for the league. And now it is just waiting between rounds. And we are back. We have had a sub in, so we now have Vector back out on the field for Crow as damage per second. I would also like to say that Center has already secured a win for tonight, but they do have to play all three maps. So Center is winning no matter what happens in this next map tonight. And the game is about to begin. So we have around 40 seconds-ish of prep time before the teams are allowed to go at each other in this game format. It appears that there is a bit of some technical difficulties for the Centre College team right now. So we are pausing the game. So it might be a minute or so until the game actually begins. So bear with us throughout this little bit of technical difficulties.
That is life. Life is just one technical difficulty after another.
As an electronic athlete, it is expected that you will have technical difficulties, as unlike any other athletic game, which has to be played in person, then like any other athletic game is played in person. However, electronic athletes play virtually. So Centre College is in Kentucky, and the New England College is in New Hampshire. So we are playing from the south and then from the northeast, and we are still having some tough competition, but as long as it's one sort of technical difficulties here and there, I cannot complain. So right now in this game mode, it is similar to before. However, it is just escorting this payload. They don't have to capture the point. So Centre is trying to escort this payload across the map, and we'll have 2 checkpoints before the final checkpoint. And then New England College is trying to do anything in their power to prevent Centre from progressing.
Centre is still steadily pushing this payload despite the resistance being put up by New England College.
And the payload is still moving forward. Centre has pushed back New England, and the payload is moving forward ever so steadily, which is great for Centre because while New England does respawn, that gives the payload a chance to move forward with Centre.
Oh, what an absolute shot by Who's James? You know, maybe that question will always be eternal, who's James, but I can sure say that was a pretty good shot from him.
It appears that James is the kind of person to help out the Centre team and eliminate some of the New England players. The kind of person who works well with their team.
Now they're just waiting on a door to open.
Yes, Centre has hit that first checkpoint already this early in the game. So it appears that Centre is at their top playing ability today. They are now waiting for the opposing team to come on back. They are all getting in position in order to take them out quick and efficiently and effectively.
No one can hide from my sight.
Centre can now see where the opposing team is and where they're going to approach due to the skill of one of their fellow teammates. And we have Galv coming in strong with some defense here, and Centre is a seamlessly well-oiled machine. I'm in awe seeing how well Centre is working together in tonight's match. I'm almost speechless currently.
I mean, it's like we mentioned earlier. You know, this is a different level of Overwatch playing. I mean, this is truly something special to be able to witness. I couldn't play this good.
I simply cannot play this good at all, but Centre has secured the second checkpoint, and they are rapidly moving across this map. It is absurd how quick they are getting across. We've got New England trying to give some heat to Centre, but Centre is shrugging that off like it is no big deal.
And dare I say, they even seem to be throwing that heat right back at them.
If not stronger than before.
Ooh.
We had one of the Centre Overwatch players get eliminated, but that is not preventing Centre from keeping up a strong push they also have a long time to continue to push forward with the payload. So they are not crunched on time, so they can take all the time that they need in order to regroup and to push back. And it looks like Center is strongly, pushing back.
Pushing back aside from a little freeze right there from the enemy May, but as was said, still chugging along at breakneck speeds.
Yes. And even though the New England College is pushing back, we still have all the time in the world to regain that upper hand and push back stronger than we have been, which will be a lot harder.
A lot can happen in 3 minutes.
Yes. Center has regrouped, putting up some walls and moving forward in a unified manner in order to whittle down the tanks and DPS players on the other team and eliminate them. It looks like Galv got rid of another. However, the Rhine on the other team is really pushing forward and eliminating a handful of our Center players. But Center is also pushing back and eliminating a handful of theirs. If Center can hold this spot, then they can wait for their other teammates to come back. However, that's harder because Center players will have to walk across the map, whereas New England players get to respawn right here. So if Center can hold this place, then that is just props to Center for being able to do that in such a highly contested environment. And it looks like they may be able to. The payload is moving forward yet again. Center easily turned the tides right here, and it's so close to reaching that final checkpoint. It's being contested, but the Centre Overwatch team is kicking into overdrive.
Center only 2.06 meters from victory.
That can mean all the world, though. Especially if the other team is respawning again and again in waves. Center won't have a chance to get their grouping, but it looks like that they were able to eliminate all of the other players, and
that's a roll Kearns.
Roll Kearns is what I like to say. Amazing play. So we will move on to the next round of this map in a second and see how Center does in the defense instead of the attack against New England.
Felt like I had to do more.
And we're off for the last round of the game.
Yes, Center is on the defense now and is putting up a good fight against this payload. This is a little bit harder than the last round because Center prevented them from getting the objective point and activating the payload. However, now they just have to prevent the payload from moving no matter what. So they can't prevent it from starting up. They just have to meet it where it stands. But it looks like they are doing that as the payload is slowly moving backwards now. And it looks like a good wipe right now for the other team.
Yeah, Center once again adhering to expectations set up by this map of stopping that first push.
Yes. The thing is, the opposing team will respawn very quickly and reach the same point. But as we did see in the last map, when Center was on defense, they are very easily able to keep the opposing team at bay and then have the opposing team have to regather and come back in waves. And in between those waves, the support will heal and buff our team so they are back in full force when the other team comes back as well. So Center is exemplarily showing that with Jellymane healing his fellow teammates in preparation for the other team coming back. It is just an amazing feat that Center is able to so seamlessly work together and push the opposing team back. Observing a game like this as a viewer who may have never played Overwatch before, it appears that it is not as difficult as it looks. However, this is very, very difficult, and it is super impressive how well both teams are playing, but especially how well Center is working as a unit. The payload is slowly moving forward, but Center is meeting them very, very strongly still. Looks like an ultimate was just used by the opposing team to try to push Center back, but I do not believe that that will work in the way that they believe it will. I think Center will work even harder now to push back against the opposing team now that the ultimate is out of the way. It looks like Center
once again stopping another push and beginning to push the payload back.
Yes. Center's goal currently as it stands should be to prevent the payload from reaching the first checkpoint, because if they can do that, then the time will run out. However, if the payload does reach the first checkpoint, the opposing team will get more time. So it's a race to run the clock out for Center. They just have to keep the opposing team at bay until the clock runs down to 0 as it stands currently. So that's what's happening here. But as I did say, it is a bit harder to defend a payload against someone else. So the payload has reached the first checkpoint, and Center is preparing to defend against New England in order to keep them from moving forward. So they are all set up in these buildings surrounding where the payload will move in order to meet them where they stand and prevent the opposing team from moving through this area.
Center clearly taking a page out of Obi-Wan Kenobi's book and maintaining their positions on the high ground.
Yes. And they are contesting the payload.
Oh, and it was, in fact, high noon for somebody.
For who's James?
But James...
It was not high noon for long, however.
James was fed his lunch.
Yes. It looks like in this final map, the New England college team is putting in full effort to move forward, as they would like to maybe secure a full round for this map, but we'll see if that works out.
Oh, a wonderful teleport by Reaper there to get the flank on an enemy soldier 76, it looked like.
Yes. Center can feel the pressure on them from the opposing team, so Vector here is eliminating one after another in order to prevent them from moving forward. I feel like Vector has gotten a full team wipe, almost a full team wipe just on their own at this point, which is very, very impressive and shows the skill that Vector has as a player. The payload is slowly moving back right now as none of the New England players are on it, and there's around 35 seconds left for them to reach the second checkpoint. And Center is putting the heat on as they do not want them to reach that second checkpoint, and are doing everything in their power to prevent them from getting there. It appears that they've separated a lot of the team, so the New England team cannot work as a cohesive unit and move forward in order to get that payload back. And they're just preventing them from approaching in general. We're in overtime currently, though, because there are New England players on the payload.
And it was once again high noon.
Yes. Center is putting the works down in this overtime. They are realizing how important it is to eliminate these New England players. But they're very evenly matched. And it is currently being contested, so the payload is not moving forward. I don't know about our viewers out there, but I'm on the edge of my seat currently. I am fingers crossed for Center to pull this off right now. This is a very tense overtime, and all I can do is watch, and so it's very, very, very tight.
Center is putting up an absolute stiff bit of resistance to the enemy team.
And
they won.
Yes. So
Roll Kearns.
Roll Kearns. Center has secured the win across the board without losing any maps. So give a big applause for Center for doing that. They are still undefeated for this season and remain in their number 1 seed and spot at the top of the leaderboards. It has been an amazing night for Center, and they have worked just so well together tonight. I would like to say that if any of our viewers are watching currently and do not currently follow the Center Esports account, to immediately go and do so. And just a big shout out to everybody that has tuned in tonight. The team really appreciates it, as they work super hard every week and practice so much in order to get to where they are today.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, so Porter and Tyler signing off, and we will see y'all next week. Thank you.